Hey, how's it going, everybody? Prospector here with Watcher Realms. Welcome to the channel. Today we'll be checking out Moriden. I'm gonna finally be checking him out. I'm gonna be placing him on the field, seeing how his skills work, see how they interact, doing all of those good things. But anyways, without further ado, let's dig in. Alright, so first things first, we can look at the hero a little bit. As far as the way he looks, I think he looks really cool. This hero is going to be a limited exclusive, which means you're going to have to do the 200 summons to get your first copy of him, and then you can keep summoning on that banner to keep summoning and summoning and summoning. This will only come around once in a while during special events, but he does have a big old spike right on the front of the armor here. I'm guessing when he goes and he uses his displacement to jump from one area to the next, he's gonna go and just stab everybody. It's pretty cool. Shield sitting on the side. Very cool looking unit. Big old green sword. Like a death kind of feel about him. But anyways, let's go on to the tags here. He's got single target attack, which means he's gonna be like more of a boss kind of hero, or at least just hitting one unit at a time. He does do the displacement, which means he's able to move around on the battlefield. And it says he has some ally buffs. He is the Nightmare and Esoteric faction, which means he can go under a Torador, a Rygar, the Nastia, Venoma, and Cyrus. Being able to take advantage of that rage regen, the extra boost from Nastia is very nice as well. The big damage increase. Probably gonna work really well on Abyss 1, Guild Boss. I'm gonna say Apoc 2 is gonna be a big one for him. Although that one's gonna be a little more difficult because he's gonna have to disengage with the boss occasionally and then turn around and hit him again. You really want to be breaking any kind of records with him at all. Okay, so on to the stats here. His stats are relatively good. He has 28.5k HP, makes him pretty tanky. That's pretty high for a ground unit. His attack's at 5400. This is decent as well. It's more of at the time of making this video, I guess it's going to be like more of in the mid-range of the attack. It can go anywhere from like 4500 to 6200. So 5400 is like kind of right in the middle. His defense is at 2699. That's respectable defense. Magic res is a little low at 630. It's really nice to see it at over 1000, but holy cow, the stats are very nice. Cost is at 18. He does block with a 2. Redeployment time is 60. His attack interval is at 2.6 seconds. It's very nice. Attack speed is at 100. Crit damage is at 150. Rage regen is at 13. Basic attack is 10. And when he's attacked, it is at 5. Before we get too far into anything here, I'm going to go ahead and show you that you can follow along if you would like. Just check out prospector.gg and go ahead in there and scroll down just a bit. There's a little search bar that's going to show up and you can type in Moriden and he should pop up. Update his hero image yet. That's a chat GPT image. We'll fix that. But you come through here, you can see his skills, his talent, everything about him that you might want to see. His tags, his skill range, everything pretty much is going to be on there. His stats will also be added on there. As soon as I get done with this video, I'll go into modifying the hero guide and completing it. But if you just want to see the skills for now, go ahead and check that out. I add these within 24 hours of the heroes hitting the test server and being released for us to cover. Anyways, moving on. Promotions. Promotion level 1, he unlocks Soul Sunder. Promotion 2 is Talent Enhanced. Promotion 3 is Hell's Envoy. Promotion 4 is more skill or stats. Promotion 5 is Talent Enhanced again. Promotion 6 is more stats. Let's go into the skills right away. I'm going to cover this really quickly. Talent is when deployed, it triggers a Deep Cleave that deals 300% defense penetration. So this is going to make it so certain things like GVG based defenses, he's not going to be able to take advantage of that. But anyways, damage to one enemy in basic attack range. If no enemies are in range, enters charging state and gains 1 stack of Dark Infusion. Dark Infusion increases base attributes by 10% during the next Prince of Darkness state and extends the state duration by an extra 4 seconds, this affecting a stack up to 5 times. So pointing him in a different direction and then turning him around at a certain point, say like Abyss, when he can't do damage, and when he can do damage, you can turn him around and start doing a ton of damage. It's going to be very useful. At max stacks of Dark Infusion, changes charging state to restore 10 rage for the hero per second. making it so he can come back to his ultimate, displace himself into a different location, or turn himself around. Alright, onto the basic attack. Its physical damage deals 120% damage to one enemy. The Soul Sunder is the first passive. During the ultimate, Soul Strike has a 25% chance to be enhanced, ignoring 60% of the target's defense and restoring 50 rage for the hero upon the cast. Soul Strike. Where is Soul Strike? I don't think it said anything about Soul Strike. I'll have to try to find that when we get to it. Hell's Envoy is the next passive. After maintaining Prince of Darkness state for 60 seconds in total, the hero permanently gains 50% damage increase. Each enemy killed reduces the time needed to gain this effect by 5 seconds. Now, this skill is a little confusing. After maintaining Prince of Darkness state for 60 seconds in total, I think the only time you can actually see this happening is in the ultimate after it ends. Does he just go into the Prince of Darkness state by default? I guess that's something we're going to have to figure out. It seems kind of interesting. I'm going to see if he's going to stay in that or not. Now, onto the bond skill before we get to the ultimate. The following reduces initial deployment cost by 6, so he's going to come down to 12. I think he was a cost of 18 if I remember correctly. Cost of 18 is correct. And gains max stacks of Dark Infusion when deployed. So he's going to be able to automatically have all 5 stacks. He's going to have that 50% increase to his base attributes and extend the state duration by 4 seconds. So it's going to be up to 20 seconds extra ultimate with Prince of Darkness state. Alright, so on to the ultimate. Black Wind. Or I guess... Oh, Prince of Darkness. That's so confusing. Basic attack becomes Soul Strike after the ultimate is activated. When charging his power during the Prince of Darkness state, Moriden grants 1.6 rage regen per second to allies within 2 tiles. It doesn't really have a cooldown time there. I must be missing something here. Or does he go into the Prince of Darkness state? The only time it mentions it is right here, and then the ultimate, and the only time it says you're actually going into it is at the end of the ultimate. Anyways, let's read the ultimate. Chooses and teleports to an occupied ground tile within 3 tiles instead of 4 like Valara. That being said, you get to choose that. It's not random. Upon arrival, triggers Whirlwind Strike, dealing 600% defense penetrating damage to one enemy within 2 tiles of the hero. So as long as the unit's within 2 tiles, I think it doesn't matter what direction it is, he's going to do that 600% damage. Then enters Prince of Darkness state. And this is the only time I see it actually saying he's entering this state. So after you use this ultimate for the first time, he's going to go into Prince of Darkness. If you maintain that for 60 seconds without using an ultimate again, he's going to activate Hell's Envoy, where he's going to gain a 50% damage increase. Each enemy killed reduces the time needed to gain this effect by 5 seconds. Yeah, I think that you can pretty much use your ultimate and he'll go into the Prince of Darkness state and stay in. We have to figure that out. Anyways, onto the awakenings. Awaken level 1. During the ultimate, the chance to trigger enhanced Soul Strike with basic attack increases by 20%. Awaken level 2 is attack plus 300. Awaken level 3 is when triggering the ultimate at max stats of Dark Infusion, gains an extra 10% boost to base attributes. So they can go up to a 60% base attribute boost. During Prince of Darkness state, when not in charging state, and also restore rage for nearby allies at half the normal value. Okay, nice. Awaken level 4 is penetration plus 8%. Awaken level 5 is after maintaining Prince of Darkness state for the required duration, the hero gains 30% extra physical damage reduction and magic damage reduction. Oh, okay, so the required duration is going to be for, I'm guessing, Hell's Envoy, the 60 seconds in total, and he'll get himself an extra 30% physical and magic damage reduction. So if he just sits there, he's going to be pretty darn tanky. You could set him up as a tank if you wanted to, and just put him down and just rage regen for allies, do all kinds of crazy nonsense. Now he does have an artifact here called Nightfall. This increases single target damage by 30%. Whirlwind Strike and Deep Cleave are going to inflict a 20% vulnerability to physical and magic damage on enemies for 15 seconds. Can he maintain that? That's something else to be said. We have to check that out. There's a 20% chance, or is there... They just automatically do that. Whirlwind Strike and Deep Cleave are going to be up here. When deployed, he does a Deep Cleave. Then you're gonna have it here. It looks like the Whirlwind Strikes kind of comes into play when he uses ultimate and moves. The Deep Cleave comes into play when he first enters the battlefield. It was kind of interesting. How can he get... You can actually move him in. I'm thinking Abyss 1 is how it's going to work. When you move him into a spot and you point him at the boss, he's going to use this artifact and he's going to put up a 20% physical and magic damage vulnerability for 15 seconds. So if you wanted to do that during the shield, or you know, kind of like wherever you wanted to do that, you could use that to your advantage. Very interesting to see how that's going to work. Okay, let's check out what kind of gear he should be wearing. Let's see if I can switch right over to the Infernal Roar set. We are going to break it right away and then unbreak it, try to fix it and see if it works on Moriden. Alright, so we'll still Soulbound Arcana, try to make the stats kind of match. We are just using Warlord and Infernal Roar. That is very close, we'll go with that. Alright, let us go into a fight. Let's check out Guild Boss and see how his damage changes. What kind of numbers we're going to be able to get. Let's go to normal. Get Moriden on the field here. Come on. Alright, so he is an ESO faction and Nightmare faction, so I could just put him with Corridor. There you go. Alright, let's put him on the field, see what happens. Ray is doing physical damage. The other ones are, I think Valara is doing magic damage. I think Astral is physical damage as well. Alrighty, so let's get him on the field now. Let's place him down. Let's see what his ultimate does, because what really matters is that ultimate. Obviously, when placing on the field, sometimes those other attacks are not going to work. But let's see if his ultimate actually triggers this. 818, 433, 433, 433. It was 433 and 818. So let's go back out here, complete the Infernal Roar set, and then see what kind of damage he's putting out. By the way, that is insane how much damage that was for a broken set. Is he gonna be like popping damage at like 700k per hit on his ultimate? I don't know. He might. All right, let's see here. All right, get that Infernal Roar piece on. Here we go. Test server is always super laggy. Drives me insane. They overload it with gear and then it's just wild. This is the one that we had on. This is pretty close. A little slower, a little less attack, but we'll get the picture when we get into the fight. Let's get back in there. Alrighty. Let's get him on the field. Back a little bit. Activate his ultimate. It was a little higher there, so it looks like his ultimate is doing more damage with the completed set, which makes sense. That being said, does that mean that it is better? It's hard to say. Soulbound Arcana, if you're in a really long fight, Soulbound Arcana tends to take the lead. It's really hard to compare the two, especially if you can get a bunch of ultimates going on the field prior or as early as possible on the field. That way Infernal Roar doesn't have that first ultimate advantage. But yeah, it seems to work really well, especially if you want to place him down too and take advantage of that extra damage when you place him on the field. That's definitely, well, now it's showing a 479. Now it's high because he's vulnerable. That was weird, wasn't it? Yeah, I think it's working like it should. Let's switch him over to Soulbound Arcana and see what kind of damage he does. I'll try to get his stacks out as quick as possible and see what happens. Alright, here we are, the gear select screen. Let us find ourselves some decent Soulbound Arcana gear. Attack. By the way, if you would like to see how he responds in GVG or how these tactical units act in GVG, especially for defense, I do have a video out, so go ahead and check out the channel. Also, be sure to like and subscribe for more content coming up in the future. I'm definitely going to be releasing a bunch of content. Alright, so here we are. He's at 24k attack, 286.5% crit damage. He does actually have penetrating skills, so he could probably go in a lot more crit damage. That's future testing though, to see what it actually is the most optimal. Right now we'll just stick with the attack percentage stuff to keep it simple and consistent. It's really easy to keep it consistent when you have high attack percentage gear on. Alright, let's put him on the field. Slow it down a bit. Let's get him on the field. Let's get Nerissa on the field. Let's get Percy on the field. Get ourselves Anne on the field, I suppose. I guess it doesn't really matter. I don't want any of these guys to touch him. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're gonna have to activate first. And then we'll get a really good look at what's going on here. We'll just let it ride for a minute. I think they'll all activate without anybody on them. There's the first hit from Yuri, Eloin, Percy, Nerissa. Oh, she won't let me activate. She's so stupid. She's not gonna let me activate. You know what? Let's just pull her out the field. She's being stupid. We'll just activate Yuri again, then we'll go from there. We need to get the 5 activations, so I need one more here. Make sure we got it. We got it. Could have picked better heroes for this. Get these guys off the field. Now let's activate his ultimate and see what he does. Oh, that was like over 1 million. 645. It's not too crazy. Keep him riding, keep him riding. He sure has a long ultimate. Well, since we're here, we can go ahead and just wait until he gets done. He should enter Prince of Darkness mode when his ultimate is over. Good. Nothing really changed. Yeah, so even penetration damage to one enemy within 2 tiles of the hero, then enters the Prince of Darkness state. Is there no indication that he's in it? Maybe his swords are glowing. Let's just keep him in there for a while. We got time. So we're at 2:30, I think. So if we get down to 1:30 before we activate his ultimate again, we should be able to see if anything changes. Alright, literally my first time putting the unit on the field. I like to do this with you guys instead of just by myself. That way I'm not just coming into it knowing everything. You can just see how we interact with it. He should be in that full 60 seconds at this point in time. He should have the stats maxed out at a 50% stack, and then his duration should be increased by an extra 20 seconds. So I'm gonna wait till the boss comes out of the vulnerable state, and then we'll go ahead and we'll activate his ultimate. And we can see the damage. Alright, so let's activate this. Come on, let me see the damage. 448, now it's even lower. Boy, that's weird, isn't it? What a weird interaction. It looks like he's weaker now. Not even seeing any debuffs on the boss, by the way. Not seeing any vulnerabilities up there. Let's restart here. Try it another time. Just trying to figure out how he's actually working. Go ahead and put him on the field. We did put it on right here when he first came out. That is that not whirlwind, is a soul strike, I think. No, the deep cleave. And just gonna do it on for the ultimate. He should do it then too, right? You can select what tile you want to be on. We're gonna go here. Just activate him. We did activate it again right there, and it does last for a long 15 seconds. You can use that for obviously doing a lot of damage in between the abyss. On the shields, I mean, or in between the phases in APOC 2 as well. But the damage is just not really that high, considering... I think that red glow there is his Prince of Darkness state. No, he keeps it during the ultimate. He's not supposed to. There's no indication for that. How odd. But you can see the ultimate was much shorter that time around. I'm just really interested in checking out this unit. It's fun. Alright, so I don't really know of anything else to actually kind of point out for his kit working or not. We will check out some other Rage Regen stuff. Let me go back and look at his kit, and I'll come back to you with our next step. Alright, so I do want to test out this. If no enemies are in range, enters charging state and gains 1 stack of Dark Infusion every 5 seconds at max stacks of Dark Infusion. Changes charging state to restore 10 rage for the hero per second. I want to check that out. So what we'll do is we'll put him down, and I'll put him back on the field facing away from the boss. Dark Infusion increases base attributes by 10% during the next Prince of Darkness state and extends the duration by 4 seconds. This effect can stack up to 5 times. I've also changed him back into the Infernal Roar gear. I do think this is better for him than the Soulbound Arcana set, just from the numbers that were showing on the screen when we were testing him. Let's go ahead and we'll place him on the field. I'll point him at the boss starting off, use his first ultimate to turn him around so he can start going into this charging state, and then when that's completed, I'll turn him back around and hit the boss again and see what kind of numbers we're looking at. Infernal Roar does seem to be the best though. So let's start him off by looking at the boss. Let him do some damage to him. We'll turn him around as soon as his ultimate is ready here. Right. Alright, so let's get him placed on the field. We're gonna point him at the boss starting off, and then I'm gonna actually use the ultimate to turn him around so he can go into this charging state, and then we'll turn him back around and look at the boss again. And it is a super weird here. How do we get him to turn around? I don't want to click this and he goes into it. There we go. Point him backwards. He did come in and strike him really hard, which is a pretty good hit when it did it. And now he's in this charging state. So you can see his charging state going there, right? Need to put down a single Kong to do some damage here. Once his charge is complete, he should be doing a crazy amount of regen, so he can turn around and do a massive hit to the boss. So wait just a sec. I think this is his maximum, is what it's looking like. Let's turn him around and get that hit off. Oh, that's everything so fast all the time. His damage is staying about the same right now. But this is how he's supposed to work, I think. On bosses anyways. It's kind of weird. 717,000. Those are pretty good, solid hits. Let's have him take the shield out. Now his... Yeah, so when he was turned around, when he came out of the ultimate, he was all the way up here for rage. It didn't take that long to make it so he can just turn around again. And now we're sitting here trying to build up rage again. Very interesting. Let's try to put Elon on the field. We'll do this one more time, I think. Turn him around. He'll use his ultimate. Nobody's in his attack range, so he's in a charging state. He's charging. You can see his stacks building up now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we got this hero figured out. There we go. And he kind of comes out. Look at his rage go up. That is fast. And he brings Sun Wukong to fix this here. again because nobody was there. Let's do this on his vulnerability. Shall we? Turn him around. Turn 1x. Hopefully I can actually see it this time. Let me see that damage. Speed plus 10%. 1.4 million damage on the turn. Wow. Okay. Alright. 1.4 million on the next hit. 1.4 million. There we go. Look at those big whacks that he kind of came out with there. Nice. But also, it was in a vulnerable state, so that makes a big difference as well. But 860k per hit, as he's just popping off millions as he goes here. Look at that. 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51. It's crazy. It is crazy. She can't heal him, but that's okay. We're pretty much done checking him out here. Let's get him off the field. I'm gonna have to make another video, really checking him out in APOC 2, Abyss 1 as well. I think in APOC 2 it could be interesting if you place him looking in his direction so he's getting that charging state going, and then just using your other heroes to do most of the damage. And then when the vulnerable phase kicks in, just turn his butt around and just go to town on him and just do a ton of damage. I think it's just gonna really add up. Man. Alright, let's get out of here. Moriden seems to be a very unique hero. If he goes under the ESO faction, he's gonna have a rage boost as well. So if you put him under a nasty or something like that, let's see, I can go and check this out really quickly here. Esoteric faction, let's go to Nastia. Reduces faction team members' skill cost by 25%. He's probably going to be able to go into that charge rate when he turns around and then come back almost immediately. It's going to be pretty crazy. Reduces faction team members against targets inflicted with debuffs by 5% per debuff, with the 40% increase. You put him out with the Nastia, put a Vorn out there, and you have that going. You're going to be looking at a full boost coming in from that. It's going to be insane. Actually, let's try that out. Let's just see how much of a difference that can make, shall we? Let's just put a bunch of debuffs on the boss. Go to the ESO faction. And there we go. We got Vorn. We'll just put whatever gear on them. Nastia. Let's get our Numera on the field. We'll just equip them with quick equip. Actually, I'll be right back in just a moment. I'll get this done and be right back. Alright, so we're going in there with a bunch of poisons. So there should be some damage reduction in there. There should be quite a few things going on. We'll see how many debuffs we can get up on the boss. I don't know if it counts per poison or if you have to have different poisons up there. But let's see if we can get a damage increase. It goes up to a 40% increase in damage. We will start him off looking in the other direction. Go ahead and put down a Numera here. We will go ahead and put down Vorn. And we will get down Nastia to do some damage there. He's ready. We have to get those stacks of damage on there, or the debuffs up there. There you go. There's a whole bunch of stacks. Got a bunch coming in. Not going to activate Numera. Let's go ahead and turn him around. Oh man, I thought I could turn him around that way. That's okay. Let's get him to recharge here. Put down our Eloin to see if we get some more raid regen boost going on. Sorry about that. I was hoping I could just keep him in the same spot and like just turn him that way, but apparently not. But he might be ready right away anyways here. There he is. Alright, so let us move him over here and face him forward. And I'm going to try to click on a unit so we can see the damage coming in. Actually, I click here so we can see his damage is at 1.081. Here it comes. Come on, get some damage in there. 1.081, 1.835. Let's pull these other guys off the field. And the damage is there. 708. 641. That worked pretty well. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna have to definitely dig into this hero a lot more. I want to try to put him on some actual teams, and like Abyss 1 and APOC 2. And then I'm gonna come back with even more about this unit. But I think we got pretty much covered to see what he's actually doing the whole time. As far as placing him on the field, it's kind of hard to gauge that 1.2% rage regen boost that he's bringing in. He does have some crazy awakenings, so we have a lot more to check out with Moriden, but there is some time to figure that out. The awakenings, we will definitely dig into some more. Increases the trigger chance of enhanced soul strike. He's going to have the when triggered the ultimate at max stacks of dark infusion, gains an extra 10% boost. And then he has also the damage reduction at the A5 after maintaining the Prince of Darkness state for 60 seconds. That one doesn't seem too exciting, but the A1 and A3 should increase his damage quite a bit. But anyways, guys, that is it for today's video. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, remember you can check out prospector.gg/hero/Moriden if you want to just look at the kit yourself and see it from a very simple view instead of like trying to see it on the video. If you have any questions, don't forget to join Discord. You can ask on there. Leave it down in the comment section down below as well. I usually keep an eye on these videos for the first couple of days that they're posted. But anyways, I've been the Prospector. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, keep digging.